Hello, my impatience. In 6 minutes, it will be good evening, but I guess at this point, it's still good afternoon. In 6 minutes, it will be 5 p.m. But at this moment, uh, good afternoon, my impatience. How art thou? I hope you will join and engage with me. I hope you will come filing in momentarily. So, how was your weekend? Uh, what did you do? Um, Tomorrow I'll be getting you know TB's here. He says, how you doing? He's first in line for a dose of Koloski. Yes, thank you for joining, thank you for watching, thank you for being at my beck and call, as they say. How you doing, Dave? How you doing? So I am live. So I'm getting a psychiatric evaluation tomorrow. Somebody asks, how did I come to the realization about Mama? Well, everybody was saying for weeks that Mama was probably a man. And sure enough, they posted the screenshots of the conversation. Some guy posted the screenshots of the conversation in the Discord, and it pretty much confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was a man. So, yeah. On that note, there's no longer any. I just spilled seltzer on me, but I caught it. It wasn't too bad. That's too bad. Okay, gotta wipe this up here. All right. All right. I spilled some seltzer on me. Taylor says the banana video was hilarious. I do eat a lot of bananas, that's for sure. I do eat a lot of bananas. Somebody says, how does it make you feel to know some guy got off to your pain and suffering? Hey, well, I'll block him and not communicate with him anymore. So I am being honest. Well, I'll block him and I'll not communicate with him anymore. So he says, are you more of a banana or a taco guy? Well, I have bananas every day, usually 2 for breakfast. The sauce says, well, isn't it Mr. Koloski, or should I say, I don't know. He says the supervillain crime boss. Somebody says, Mama metaphorically raped you, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, I guess with the metaphor analogy, you could turn anything into anything. Really, you could say, I feel like I'm in prison because I didn't have, metaphorically speaking, because I didn't have enough Parmesan on my boneless chicken wings. So with the metaphor, you could kind of turn anything into it. I feel like I'm locked in solitary confinement because there wasn't enough Parmesan on my boneless chicken wings. So. Somebody says Andrew consented to the mama metaphorical rape. So. You know, realistically, the thing for me to do would have been to block mama. Somebody says the real mama could get you put in a nice padded room for that. Somebody says that stuff could easily get you institutionalized. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I'll just say some nefarious cyberbully did that to me. Somebody says your parents should probably turn off the Wi-Fi. Probably. But what are you going to do? All right, so let's change the topic to some like more let's change the topic to some more happy things. So I'm getting a psychiatric evaluation tomorrow. I'll be getting a new psychiatrist. He says, "Thank God you need a psychiatric evaluation." What for? I'm just to get a new psychiatrist. I'll be getting a psychiatric evaluation. So he says, you should tell the doctor about this stuff. It's I don't know. I'll see how the new psychiatrist goes, but Giant Big Letter says you never mention how. Oh, make sure you mention how gullible you are, and that you won't listen to anyone. So he says Andrew ran out of Xanax. No, I think I have some Xanax right over here. I believe. Yeah, I got some Xanax over here. I just don't take it that much. So he says, can you get an IQ test from these doctors? I don't know. Maybe. Why are you interested in what my IQ might be? Taylor says yes. Okay, I can bring it up, I guess. Giant Big Letter says 92. So he says it might be worth looking into your IQ reading comprehension level. La, 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 la. How do you know I have a 92 IQ? Has somebody given me an IQ test at some point? Brian says, "Hey, big dog, how you doing? How you doing? How do you know I have a 92 IQ? Is that what? How is that score?" That's what somebody said. Somebody said randomly I have a 92 IQ, who I suspect might be a member of my family. I don't know if it's true or not, though, or if somebody has secretly given me an IQ test. But somebody says, did Dr. Garrett ever give you an IQ test? I don't think so, no. Somebody Taylor says, you think everybody here is a member of your family. Maybe somebody's just joking. Somebody says 100 is average. They're just guessing, but you should definitely take a test. Taylor asks, how was my day? Boring. I didn't really do a whole lot. Peter says, I've met some really dumb high IQ people. Yeah, I guess so. Somebody asks, have I ever thought about transitioning into a woman? No. I like being a man. I want a sexy girlfriend, basically. I'm not into men or being a woman, no. I want a nice sexy girlfriend. Giant Big Ladder says, honestly, if you were 10 years younger, there's no way you wouldn't be a femboy. What do you mean? Somebody says, that's a fact. That's a fact. What do you mean? What does that mean? What's a femboy? First off, what's a femboy? Somebody says, that's a fact. I'm afraid so. Where is my dinner, Mama? Where's my dinner? This is a feminine guy. All right, fair enough. Anybody want me to hook up the DSLR and do some performative videos here? Somebody says, cook your own food. Somebody says, no, don't hook up the DSLR and make some videos. She's not really cooking for me. She got some chicken marsala from Uncle Giuseppe's that she's going to heat up in the microwave, probably. So it's not exactly, an exquisite la-di-da dinner, but it's better than nothing. But I want my damn dinner. Somebody says, call your mother and demand your dinner right now. She'll be here momentarily, I think. Maybe she won't be, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe, did anybody ever play the game Half-Life? With the scientists that would just be walking into the wall. If you tried to get them to follow you, you'd have to go back and get them again. Maybe I'll go around, the house and I'll see my mother just like walking into the wall. That's a really weird reference that I don't think anybody got, but if you did get it, it was kind of slightly comical, maybe. Basically, the gist of the joke is I guess you would call it AI or the script of the game. The scientists would follow you, but they would get like jumbled and they would just like start walking into walls and you'd have to go back and retrieve them again. It's just, so it's basically, it's an old school video game reference. Somebody says, that's a terrible bit. Don't do that one at Paradise Studios. Yeah. To be honest with you, though, I think I've given up comedy. Anyway, maybe I'll do it again, but I think for the most part, I'm done with it. So he says, you've given up on your dream of comedy? Maybe, Taylor, maybe. Somebody asks, have you ever gone fishing before? Yes, but I haven't gone in years. Why? Does somebody want to go fishing with me? I would love to go fishing. You know, have some seltzer. So he says, you know, so he says, sit in a boat and fish. You know, might be fun. Might be fun. Somebody asked, Sandra, have you ever watched Connor O'Malley video? Who is Connor O'Malley? I never heard of him. Somebody says he's a comedian. Oh, he's a comedian. No, never heard of him, but maybe I'll check him out. Maybe I'll check him out. What kind of comedy does he do? Somebody says Connor O'Malley reminds him of me, except he's playing a character. Okay. Fair enough. I'll have to check out Connor O'Malley. Fair enough. Yeah, I used my catchphrase. I should put that on a T-shirt. I should just put on my shirt right here. Fair enough. I know that they like people. I don't know if people like it or not, but it's something I say frequently. Somebody says fair enough might have defeated what it is. Somebody says what it is might be passe and antiquated now. No, they're all about fair enough. Fair enough. Somebody says your best catchphrases is somebody said. Okay, I mean that's certainly an opinion on me. That's certainly an opinion. No, I would listen to a book if somebody read it to me. I would listen. I would lie down. If I had a sexy girlfriend reading to me, I would listen to the book. You know, if I had a sexy girlfriend lie beside me and read me a book, I would listen. Somebody says you wouldn't intake any of the information. Yes, I certainly would. Somebody says a sexy girlfriend reading you a bedtime story. Read me a chapter, and I never promised you a rose garden. Sexy girlfriend. Taylor says, if you read a book on your own, maybe a woman would like you. I guess educate your mind, keep fueling your mind. That's why I think me Madre is finally coming with dinner. One sec, guys. I hear the gate opening. Okay, don't choke them on with the impatience, but I thank you for dinner. I think I got some plates for you.
You got rid of Unova?
Yeah, I blocked.
That's it, done.
Yeah, I blocked the predator.
That's a predator.
That's a predator. Okay, there you go, Mama.
What?
Thank you.
There's some
There's some cookies. Okay. So he says, "Oh my God, how sad." Here we go. Some din din. Mrs. Your mom is so nice. She plays nice in public. She can be a real monster behind closed doors. But who cannot though? Somebody says my mom like when you go to psychiatry sessions, my mom's often on her best behavior. She can be nice though. So I'm not saying my mom is evil or but she can definitely be a monster behind closed doors. Trust me. And it says, you say she's evil every day. This is non-emotional, rational Andrew speaking right now. You know? This is rational, non-emotional Andrew is saying, yeah, she definitely has her moments where she's monstrous. Believe me, she's not the nicest, saintliest person on planet Earth. I'm like, is life ever going to get better? But you have to make life get better. Somebody says, "Not life is never going to get better the way you're living it." Somebody says, "Life is never going to get better the way things are now." Somebody says, "It's only going to get worse." I'll have to take action. Somebody says, "You're extremely under-medicated." And you're undermotivated too. Somebody says, you got to admit you need help and start trusting your doctors. Do you really think this is a medication issue? And I need medication? Do you really think this is a medication issue? TB says yes. Brian says yes. Peter says no. Giant Big Letter says yes, you fool. Taylor says 1,000,000%. Somebody says you need medication. Somebody says, has your parents gotten a psychiatric evaluation? This is a medication and an accountability issue. I don't know. I don't know if my parents see psychiatrists or not. I think my mother does. I don't know if my father does. Giant Big Letter says, do you even understand what a group home is? Do you understand what your life is going to be like? That's why I got to get motivated to change my life. He says, stop wasting time. So he says, maybe a group home is the best option. His parents are not equipped to deal with him. All right. It says it's time to rise and shine and come back with determination. TB asks, do you have a car? I don't know if he asks, do you have a career beyond your parents or a car beyond your parents? I have a car. I don't have a career. I mean, I'm a disabled adult child, and my mother gets my a carrier, a care worker. I have an advocate. Taylor says, you need a caretaker. No, I'm literally in the eyes of New York State, I'm classified as a disabled adult child. Like legally, I'm a disabled adult child, and that's why I get disability. I understand I'm almost 40. I'm not a child. But in the eyes of New York State, I'm literally a disabled adult child. So it says you're a disabled adult, not a child. It says on my medical papers that I'm a disabled adult child, I believe, yes. I'm legally an adult, but I'm classified as somebody who was disabled before he became an adult. I'm not saying I can't go to prison or the psychiatric hospital. They'd probably put me in a psychiatric hospital, but realistically, I am a disabled adult child. That's why I get the disability. Which means you're a certified man child. But the key to everything is to get independent. Somebody says volunteer anywhere, get a job doing anything within reason. You just get out of your apartment. And also take the proper psych meds. Somebody says you could always get a job flipping burgers. Somebody says he's too good for that Taylor time. He'll be a rock star any day now. Giant Big Letter says, in New York State, parents can receive financial support for the developmentally disabled children between the ages of 21 and 25 and potentially beyond if certain criteria are not met. Brian says, before even trying to get a job, you need to cut down on the internet use. Brian says, if you can't control yourself enough to spend a few days off YouTube, then ask your parents to help by cutting off the Wi-Fi. He says, this is his whole life. He doesn't do anything more than this. He just sits and posts on social media and goes to the gym and walks around the neighborhood. That's what he does. He has no friends. He has no romantic partners. His parents don't really interact with him. This is basically my life. Brian says, then do something else. Brian says, YouTube doesn't have to be the only thing you do. You choose this. That's true. I do choose this. And I should change it, Somebody says, even getting a job flipping burgers is better than this. You're just wasting your life. At least you could socialize with some, some people, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Somebody says, get off this live stream right now and go do something. Somebody says, Andrew has the victim mentality. Except it's your fault and you have to change it. But since I'm a victim, I can wait for my parents, before, I blame my parents for not filling out job applications. Take accountability and do it myself. Take accountability and realize I'm an adult. Take accountability, stop blaming my parents, and be a man. I am processing it. Somebody says, Andrew is definitely hotter than the people in the chat. Don't take advice from 9 of them. All right, thank you. I appreciate you finding me attractive. For what it's worth, I definitely am a good-looking guy. But that's not really worth very much. Yeah, Dead Cop says definitely. I mean, you gotta give me that. You gotta at least give me. You gotta definitely at least admit I'm a handsome guy. Gecko says, Andrew, you're hotter than me, and I can't believe you're a 37. You look like a 25-year-old heartthrob. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody says, Andrew looked like a young Tom Cruise before he looked like an old, shriveled bull sack. Meva says, I love your forehead wrinkles. Hey, what are you going to do? I'm handsome enough. Looks are not my problem. This is all natural. Somebody says, the wrinkles on your forehead make you seem sophisticated. Yeah. Sure, why not? Somebody says, the chat would cry if you came back with tons of money. Loaded. Somebody says, get your mental health taken care of. Gecko says, you got the looks, talents, and resources and unique perspective. You got a lot going for you. Thank you. Thank you for the alternate take. Some people are saying I don't have much going for me. Gecko is kind. He says, I have a lot going for me. So thank you. So now it's time to get motivated. I'm going to be getting a psychiatric evaluation tomorrow. And I'm going to be getting my life on track. So he says, could you try becoming a model? I guess I could. I guess I could try to get into modeling. He says, take some headshots. Somebody says, I don't know, you're really good with banana. Maybe go down the path of, a spicy content creator. I don't know. I want to be in real legitimate Hollywood movies like Tom Cruise. I don't want to be in, adult movies, but I guess that's always a path people can go down. I want to be like a legitimate Hollywood actor, not a spicy content actor. Somebody says, Brian says, take a step back and realize you're not going to be in any movies, Andrew. Somebody says, catch it, check it, change it. All right, guys. I think so. Just good luck with your psychiatric evaluation tomorrow, Andrew. Hopefully, it goes well. I think it will. Gecko Cujo says, "Come back with a vengeance, Andrew. You can do it, buddy." Thank you, Gecko Cujo. Somebody Taylor says, "I can't wait to hear your new diagnosis. I have a feeling it's going to be schizoaffective." I think that's pretty much, confirmed to be my diagnosis. Somebody says, "Let's call a spade a spade. You should become a model." Thank you. Somebody says, "Ever think about taking a medication for schizoaffective?" I'm taking Abilify 10 milligrams at the moment. Somebody asks, do they have specific modeling for schizoaffective people? I guess I can model on mental health websites. I could be a model for the mental health community. There's this, take a Lamictal already, too, buddy. Taylor says, get better first. Get better first. So he says, clearly there is something wrong with you, but you live like that's your identity. All right. So TV asks, will modeling companies employ the undermedicated? They may not be able to for insurance purposes. I don't know. I'm certainly a handsome guy, though. La 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 la. And I think the running has only gotten me even handsomer. I think the running has definitely made me a lot more attractive. Giant Big Letter says, Hollywood would love to have a star that can't keep his hands unclenched and that needs his mother on set with him. Oh, without a doubt. Major of India says, show a little humility. Well, I mean, really, the looks are one of the only things I have going for me. I mean, at the moment, I'm disabled. I have less than $1,000 in my name, so why not talk up my strengths? What are my other strengths? I mean, looks are really my main strength at the moment. I'm an attractive guy. What else do I got going for me? Somebody says, "Well, I mean, I'm trying. It's what I'm proud of." Somebody says, "You sound narcissistic when you say you're hot." Well, it's what I'm proud of. What else do I have going for me besides my appearance? Like what else do I have going for me? Somebody says, "You can write a hook like McCartney or Timberlake." All right, thank you, Gecko Cujo. I'm not sure if that was sincere or not, but it seems sincere. Some Gecko Cujo says, "It's true. It's true." Somebody says, "Okay, so I can write a cool hook in music." He says, I comment on your bangers recently. You can write a cool musical hook." Thank you. Somebody says, you think your looks are all you have going for you? The world is your oyster. Go out there and take it." Somebody says, "Be honest with you claim be honest with yourself, Andrew." All right. If I'm to be honest with myself, I guess I realize I'm at a very low point. I'm at rock bottom, lower than rock bottom. It's time I get a wake up call and get motivated to turn my life around. Really, you can't get more pathetic than this. This is pretty pathetic. It's time for a big lifestyle change, and you need prescribed medications. So he says, you really aren't at rock bottom yet, but you're at a pretty low point. So he says, turn it around before you go lower. Yeah, enough of this social media content. Let's turn this ship around. If it was up to my mother, she'd have me on 60 milligrams, but Memphis says, make a change without hesitation. And be forced to stick with it. Taylor says, try out new meds for your schizoaffective. Giant Big Letter says, there's no coming back from homelessness. So make a change before you're homeless. Okay, we'll do Giant Big Lighter. This is the week. I'm going to get a psychiatric evaluation tomorrow. I got the art class Tuesday. I got my social worker Wednesday. This is the week I say enough. I'm going to stop with the social media content. I'm going to make my life happen. Somebody says, just do it. Do it. Okay, do it. I will. Don't talk the talk. Don't talk a good game. Walk the walk. Take action. Brian says, I'm rooting for you. I hope we see the day you don't post anything for 24 hours. Somebody says, stop eating chips too. Have some self-control. Somebody says, if you're telling us the truth, do it now. Well, what could I do now, for example? I guess I could apply to some supermarkets. Somebody says, you could smash your computer. Somebody says, smash your computer. Destroy your computer. That's the first step. Well, I think that's a little destructive. I could ask my mother to unhook the Wi-Fi. Somebody says, step 2, make more cash. Brian says, don't destroy things. Yeah, I think that was a hyperbole. I think getting off the internet would be helpful. So he says, what kind of vegetables do you have in the fridge? Yeah, I could go to the supermarket and buy some vegetables. So he says, and how about another thing? You stop talking to your mother and start cooking for yourself. Somebody says, metaphorically destroy the computer, spiritually destroy the computer, but don't actually destroy it. La 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 la. Let me just do some chores around the house. These are some great ideas. And I will. I can and I will. Somebody says, do a cooking stream with you and your mother. Somebody asks, have you ever done chores in your life? Yeah, I think I have. I've shoveled snow. I've done laundry. But my mother was pretty lackadaisical, obviously. But there's chores I've done. I've done the dishes and fed the dogs and so it says try to go a whole day without meeting your parents. Well, critics says you're going to do none of these things. It's been the same thing for 5 years. Well, that's not true. I'm going to be getting a psychiatric evaluation tomorrow. And after that, I'm going to see the social worker, and they're getting me involved in the PROS program. And they might even get me involved in somebody who's going to help me get a career. I got to stick with it, but I'm getting the ball is rolling. The ball is already rolling. Somebody says, if they tell you to take a mood stabilizing medication like Lamictal, will you take it? Well, we'll see what the doctor says tomorrow. We'll see what the doctor says tomorrow. I haven't talked to the doctor yet. So he says, that's a no. I haven't talked to the doctor yet. And that's the truth. So this is definitely a no. Well, I'll tell the doctor why I don't think I need the medication. I'll tell the doctor I'm very fatigued. I'll tell the doctor I always want to sleep. And we'll see what he says. Somebody says, you need the medication, buddy. Okay. If the doctor says I need the medication, I'll take the medication. I'll talk to him tomorrow or her tomorrow. Somebody says the adverse side effects are better than having a life like this. Somebody says, don't refuse the medication. Take the medications. I don't need to prove you wrong, but I'm motivated. I'm going to get my life on track. I'm going to change my life. Somebody says the sleepiness could also be a depression. You know what I mean? And maybe the mood stabilizing medication will get me out of depression, and I'll have more energy. It's a theory. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I know the medications are very sedative, but some people think maybe the reason I'm sleeping a lot is because of my depression. It's a theory. Meva asks you, do I know what I want? I want to be financially independent from my parents. I want a romantic partner, a girlfriend. I want a life. I do know what I want, but it's a long road to get there, obviously. I mean, you're not going to go viral and get overnight riches and fame. That's what they say. TV says you're an interesting combination of lucid and delusional at the same time. I think it's called psychosis double bookkeeping. Somebody says, Giant Big Letter says, to be honest, we've never spoken to a truly lucid Andrew. TV says, Andrew seems to understand what he needs to do, but he refuses to do it for whatever reason. Somebody says, Andrew's mind was better on the mega regimen of psychiatric medication. Somebody says, I'm too comfortable where I am to change. I need some discomfort to change. Somebody says, Andrew knows what to do. He doesn't do what he needs to do. Somebody says his mother needs to cut off the money and food. Brian says living in reality will be hard and involves sacrifice, but it's worth it. Giant Big Letter says his mom is his enabler. Somebody says you don't get like this without help. It's kind of like the My 500 Pound Life. You ever see these women who just lie in bed and eat tons of food? Well, they need an enabler to give them tons of food and to just feed them while they lie in bed all day and get to be 500 pounds. They need somebody to provide the food. And I mean, what I need to do is I need to metaphorically stop eating so much, and I need to go for a metaphorical walk, which would be take psychiatric medication and get off the internet. But I'm like a metaphorical 500-pound woman who lies in bed all day eating food. You know? You see these people and you're like, how the hell did they get to that point? But realistically, it's because they have an enabler. So he says, the only reason you're not 500 pounds, well, I eat lightly, sort of lightly. I eat one big meal, and I run and I walk, and I'm physically fit, so. Somebody says, you like playing the victim, you love to be enabled and whine, why aren't they intervening? That's true. I do like playing the victim. That's true. That's for sure. I do like being the victim and blaming my parents. That's certainly real. Somebody says, time is money. TB says, your parents are intervening, but it's to enable your fantasy world. It's to enable your social media addiction. Gecko Kucher says, understand there is a drawback to being infantilized. It's not a fear. You seek it out. Meva says, if his parents really wanted him to get better, he would be in a group home. Those people are a lot more likely to be trained to deal with someone like Andrew than his parents who have their own issues. All right, that's a take, Meva. That's certainly a take. That's certainly a perspective. All right. Somebody says, Andrew will benefit from his family's love when he's able to see it again. Somebody, Giant Big Letter says, you've spent all this time on YouTube and you have less than 1,000 subscribers. That should be all you need to know. Get off YouTube, realize it's your ticket to pouring your life down the drain. Somebody says, a few years back, it was 50. He's literally grandfathered in. Meva says, I got a question. What's your question? says, stop eating. Okay. Get the chips out of here. I'm just mindlessly eating. Somebody says somebody says take some more medication. Somebody says the Mama saga truly disturbs me. They're like this evil source of darkness. Somebody says, are you going to still talk to the Mama? No, I blocked that person. Somebody asks, was your mom physically dressing you up in middle and high school? Yeah, they didn't really dress me up very nice. They put me in Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts and, shitty clothes. I dressed like somebody who had neglectful parents. I wore these like same t-shirts over and over again every day. I wore like the Hard Rock Cafe and Indianapolis Pacers, shirts. They took me for fast food. I mean, they're there for me, but I'm talking about in middle school. The other kids would make fun of me for wearing the same clothes every day. I'm not saying I deserve the best restaurants at 11 years old, but wearing a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt, maybe they should have gotten me something a little nicer. So he says, you didn't answer my question. Were they physically putting your clothes on for you? No, I was throwing on the raggedy Hard Rock Cafe shirt in middle school. I was putting the shirt on myself, much like I put this shirt on myself. Somebody says, why didn't you? Well, I had like 5 million Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts. I had Hard Rock New York, Hard Rock Toronto, Hard Rock Chicago. I had all. I'm like, I'm not wearing the same shirt. It's a different city, but well, I was in middle school. I couldn't have bought my own clothes then, but yeah, you know what I mean. They wouldn't have. Yeah. Okay. Let's not blame a middle schooler, but I hear you. I hear you. My parents were in the process of getting a divorce. They kind of didn't really focus on my fashion too much, but it is kind of my parents' fault at that age. I'm not saying I'm in a rage because I didn't get a billionaire wardrobe, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Somebody says, why do you think your parents divorced? I'm not really sure. That's a good question. Maybe they just wore like oil and water together. I don't know if there's a reason they divorced, but I think they weren't getting along for sure. Somebody asks, was I the reason they got divorced? I don't think so. Why would I have been the reason they got divorced? Somebody says, am I the reason my parents got divorced? Somebody says, were you ever sent to school in a dress? Well, pink shorts, maybe. Not a dress. Like hot pink lame shorts, but not a dress. Critics asks, Andrew, can I ask you a question? Yes. Sure. So he says, I've never seen anybody processing their. I'm not really processing my parents' divorce 25 years later. People were just talking to me and giving me comments about it. Someone says, I know you're not processing on it. You're on the verge of it. Taylor says, you seem very emotionally stunted. All right. Ah, shit. That hurt. Nah, I'm okay, though. Somebody says, just be nicer to your parents. Pizza pasta. We got pizza pasta in the house. How art thou, pizza pasta? Oh, 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 oh. What's going on? Pizza pasta. Pizza pasta says he's just chilling. He's just chilling. So he says, I think I just finally figured out Pete's name. I'm a real dum-dum. Yeah, I didn't realize for a while, too, until he told me his name is Pizza Pasta. Pizza Pasta. So he says, Mamma mia, we got some pizza pasta. All right. So I feel, all right. Should I peace out for the evening, or should I? Somebody says, you shouldn't be afraid of failure, but you should be afraid of staying still. Rise up and make your life happen. Major Vindia says, Andrew, you should cook a horrible dinner for your mother for a change. TV says, Andrew, can I ask you a question? Sure, TV. Sure, ask me a question. Have you got a plan? Well, I'm going to go to the. Well, I guess get a job, make some money, and social media is a waste of time. Basically, it's just a waste of time and energy. And get a real job, talk to social workers, take some medication, and get motivated to make my life happen. Pizza Pasta says, sounds like a solid plan. Somebody says, get a good therapist. Somebody says, you got this, big dog. I believe in you. Thank you, Pizza Pasta. Thank you. Somebody says, your life can still include art and music, and it should. All right. Somebody says, get medicated and don't give up on the comedy. All right. All right, peace out, my inpatients. I'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again someday.